Good morning, students. In the previous class we discussed about constructors, what is the purpose of constructor, then what are the types of constructor, syntax and example, how to define constructor inside the class definition and outside the class definition. In today's class, let us discuss about different types of constructors. So as we know, there are three types: default constructor, parameterized constructor and copy constructor. Let us understand one by one. First thing, default constructor. So types of constructors. First one, default constructor. Default constructor. Second, parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor and copy constructor. Let us understand one by one. So first one, default constructor. Default constructor. See, what is mean by default constructor? A constructor which does not take any argument or parameter is called default constructor. Okay, let us write the definition. The constructor which does not take any argument or parameter is called default constructor. Okay, now from each type they will ask definition, syntax, example, program, features, advantages and disadvantages. Okay, now so this would be the definition. The constructor which does not take any argument or parameter is called default constructor. Let us write the syntax. Okay, the syntax of default constructor is same as the general syntax of constructor. You all know constructor is a special member function of a class. So, but the name of constructor is same as its class name, isn't it? How to write? Class name, open flare bracket, in the private section or protected section, data members, public. Now class name, open close parenthesis. See what you need to observe here. Here no arguments are there. We did not write any argument there. So this is the default constructor, body of the constructor. Close flare bracket, class close, semicolon. Understood? So when you create object, automatically default constructor will be executed. Next, example. What is the example here? Let us consider class point. I'll set initial point to 0. So every point on the plane having two coordinates x, y. In the public section, I'll write a constructor. The name of constructor is point. It is a default constructor. We are not passing any argument there. I want to initialize x and y, initial points. X is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, bracket close. Okay, so the purpose of constructor is to initialize data members of a class. That is we have done here. X is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. I did not pass value here. Directly I have given constants here. Class close. So if they ask for 2 mark, write the general syntax and example for default constructor. The syntax is like this and example you can write. Don't write a program. Only the main code you have to write. Let us consider a program based on default constructor. Now header files as include iostream, conio.h, class, point, int, x comma y, public, void, point, I'll write a default constructor, x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. Initially I want to set x and y to 0. The x coordinate is 0, y coordinate 0. Close. Void display. Open flat bracket. Cout. I'll display like coordinate points, parenthesis, open parenthesis, x comma y and close parenthesis. Parenthesis has to display like this, so I must write in a double quotes. X value, comma has to display on the screen, so I'll write in a double quotes. Y value has to display and close parenthesis. After that, I'll write a backslash n to take a cursor to the next line. Display close function, class close. Okay, let us write a main function. Void main, void main. You all know that constructors get invoked automatically when objects are created. How to create an object to the class? Class itself is a user defined data type. So point, name of the data type is point. I'll take point 1, point 2, point 3, 3 points. I'll take 3 objects. Okay. What happens when you create objects? This is a declaration, no? When variables are declared, memory gets allocated for P1, P2 and P3. What are the data members of each object? X and Y. X, Y, X, Y, X, Y. Okay. So in this class, we have taken default constructor, no? So default constructor means when you create object, you are not passing any argument here, and there is no formal argument to receive the value. See here, P1, P2, P3. When this object is created, P1 create aad takshana enagutte, default constructor invoke agutte. What is there? X is equal to 0, Y is equal to 0. 0, 0. So P2 also 0, 0. For P3 also 0, 0. So one thing you should observe here, when you create object, a default constructor will be executed. If you write a default constructor explicitly, that will be executed. If you won't write a default constructor, if you create object, automatically a system creates a default constructor and it called default constructor. Understood? Next, I want to display P1, P2, P3. Cout, insertion, P1. In front of that, this value has to display semicolon. After that, I'll call P1 dot disp, open close, semicolon. Next, P2. Cout, insertion, P2, P2 dot disp. Then Cout, insertion, P3, P3 dot disp. Get ch, close. See here. Always execution starts from main function. So when you create object, there would be memory allocation. At the same time, the constructor, default constructor will be executed as per the rule, When objects are created, this constructor will be invoked. After that, I'll display P1. P1, which object? This object, P1. So what is there? Double quotes is there, no? It will display as it is on the output screen. Consider this is the output screen. So, which is where is the cout statement? Here. So P1 will be displayed here, P1. After that, P1 dot disp, isn't it? P1 dot disp, this function will be invoked with the help of this object, P1 object. So open parenthesis, I did not give \n here, so it continue the same line. What is there in the x? P1 x 0, comma, y value 0, close parenthesis, where here, \n is there, cursor comes to next line. After that, P2 also 0, 0, P3 0, 0. Okay, so what you need to observe in this program, we have taken default constructor, so it doesn't take any argument. So when this constructor get invoked, when objects are created, to these objects we should not pass any argument here. And another thing, if you create 100 objects, all 100 objects get the same initial values. Are you understanding? See, if you want to change the initial values for different object, for example, I want to give initial value 0, 0 for P1, and for P2, I'll give a different value 4, 5. I want to set those values. So it is not possible using default constructor. That is the disadvantage of default constructor. So what? Using default constructor, we cannot initialize different values for different objects. Okay, and one more thing, a class must have only one default constructor. We cannot write another default constructor in the class. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೇನು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, there is no argument. You can't write another default constructor in the class, because what happens when you write another default constructor, both constructors name is same and number of arguments are same, so there is an ambiguity which constructor it has to execute. It won't become a overloading constructor overloading. Constructor overload ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೇಮ್ function name, both functions having same name and having same number of arguments. So for the compiler, which function, which constructor it has to execute, so it won't come to know for these object creation. So that is the disadvantage of default constructor. So then when you come to features, what are the features of default constructor? Using default constructor, we can initialize same value, same set of values for all objects. Then a class must having only one default constructor. It cannot take any argument. And another thing, it is not possible to initialize different values for different objects, different set of values for different objects. So these are the features. When you are writing the features, you have to combine both disadvantages and also advantages. What is the advantage? We can initialize same values for all the objects, that you can write for the advantage. And the default constructor will be executed automatically. Though you won't write default constructor, ನೀವೇನು ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ ಬರ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ, ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ನೀವು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಮೇ ಒಂದು ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ನ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, right now what you need to understand, so default constructor, it's a constructor, it doesn't take any argument, so it is also called zero argumented constructor. Okay, another name of default constructor is zero argument constructor or default constructor or zero argumented constructor. Okay, so this is the syntax and it would be the example, the main code I have written. If they ask separately explain default constructor with a program, you must write this program. Understood? Let us write the features of default constructor. What are the features of default constructor? So first thing, all the objects get same initial values. Then it does not take any argument. Then a class must contain only one default constructor. And one more thing, we cannot overload default constructors. If you want to take another default constructor, it won't become overloading. Overloading ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಝೀರೋ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್, ಏನು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಳಿಸೋ ಹಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. So if you take another constructor, point, open, close parenthesis and body of the constructor, then both are become same. So we cannot overload. Default constructors cannot be overloaded. Default constructors cannot be overloaded. Okay, and one more thing, using default constructor, it is not possible to initialize different objects with different values. So this is for 5 mark. If they ask explain the features of default constructor, all the objects get same initial values. So ಎಲ್ಲ objectiಗೂ ಒಂದೇ initial same 0 0 ಇದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ objectಗೂ 0 0 ನೇ. Then it does not take any argument. That is the definition of default constructor. It also be the nature. It doesn't take any argument. A class must have only one default constructor. The default constructor cannot be overloaded. If class having one constructor means we cannot overload it, isn't it? In order to overload, at least we need 2 functions. So it is not possible. And last thing, the same point I have written in a different way. That is, using default constructor, it is not possible to initialize different values for different objects or different objects with the different values. Understood? Then advantages. What are the advantages of default constructor? For the advantage, what you can write, all objects get same initial value. That you can write advantages for advantages. And for the disadvantage, it must contain only one default constructor. It cannot be overloaded. It is not possible. These 3 points can become the points for disadvantages. Understood? I have given advantages and disadvantages, how to extract the points from the feature in your material. You go through that. Let us understand a program based on default constructor, that is C++ program to find sum of the series 1 plus x square x cube x to the power of 4 up to x to the power of n. Okay, see what are the variables here? X and n are the variables. User has to input x value and n value, and program has to give the sum of the series based on these values. For example, if x is equal to 2 and n is equal to 4, so how to calculate? Let us substitute the values. 1 plus 2 plus 2 square plus 2 cube 2 to the power of up to n value. Okay, n is 4, no, you have to stop here at here. Now 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16. Finally it has to give the sum 16, 20, 28, 30, 31. So program has to return 31 if the given values are 2 and 4. Then how to generate the code? How to generate this output with these values? So based on the x value and n value, the program has to give the result. So what you need to observe, what are the varying things here? These are the varying things. N value will be varied. X value, user has to input x and n value. During calculation part, x value remains constant, n value will be changed. At the beginning, we can write like this, no? 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 0 is 1, 2 to the power of 1 is 2. Okay, you can start from 0, 1, 0 and you have to end to 4. Every time it has to calculate the power of 2. 2 to the power of 0, 1, 2 to the power of 1, 2. Like this it has to execute. So there is an inbuilt function. You can do this program in two ways, one with using built-in function, without using built-in function. So let us first, I'll show how to generate the code using built-in function. So 2 to the power of 0. 2 is the base and 0 is the index. There is an inbuilt function power, POW. What is the syntax of this function? Base comma index. This is the syntax. So how to write POW comma x comma at the beginning x comma 0, next POW x comma 1, next POW x comma 2, POW x comma 3, POW x comma 4. Like this it has to calculate. Every time it gives a result, no, I have to store that result in a variable. So what is the value of x comma 0? What is there in the x? 2. If x is 2, 2 comma 0, 2 to the power of 0, 1. So it results 1. So where I have to store that result? Let us take one variable. I'll take int s. Okay. So I'll store in s. If I write like this, s is equal to, what is there in s? 1 will be stored. If I write s is equal to, s is equal to, s is equal to, s is equal to, like this, our intention is to store the previous value and it would be used for next iteration. 2 to the power of 0, 1, next 2 to the power of 1 is 2. I have to add these two numbers. So every time what will be the answer? That answer will be the addend of next iteration. Okay. Here if I write the code like this, how many times this will be executed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you consider from 0, 5 times. If I consider from 1, 4 times. But I have to start from 0 because the series is 1 plus x square, like that. So at this moment s value is 1. Next time s value, the same s value. When I write the statement, there is a memory for s. Right now s is 1. In the next iteration, x comma 1, x value constant, 2 to the power of 1, 2. Now s becomes 2. The previous value will be overwritten by 2. You are calculating this part, power, x to the power of 0, x to the power of 1. So you are calculating this, but the results are not adding here. So that is the problem. Then how to overcome this? How to make this statement correct? ಇದನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಈಗ? ಎಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಗಬೇಕು ನನಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, how many times it has to execute? 4 times, 5 times I have written. If x value is 2, n value is 10 times I have to write. So this is not the solution. I have to use looping statements. Looping statements are there for this purpose. If same statements are executed repeatedly with a slight modification, then we have to use looping statement. Here everything is same. S is equal to POW x. Only the varying thing is this indices. So I can write the looping statement here. How many times this has to execute? We know that from 0 to n. 0 to n means n number of times, isn't it? If n is 4, sorry, n plus 1 time. If n is 4, 5 times it has to execute. Understood? So I must write for loop. If I write for loop like this, for I is equal to, from where I have to start? From 0. I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Open flower bracket. So if I write like this, s is equal to POW of x comma, what I have to write here? I. Every time I value will be changed. X comma I, semicolon. So at the beginning, I is 0, 2 to the power of 0, 1. So s contains 1. Okay, s is 1. In the next iteration, I becomes 1. 1 less than 4. N value is 4 now. 1 less than 4. Now power of x comma 1, 2 to the power of 1, 2. The previous value will be overwritten by 2. Like that. At the end, I becomes 4. 4, I becomes 3. I have to write equal to. Up to 4 it has to move, no? If I become 4, 4 less than or equal to 4, condition satisfied. X to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 4, what is the value? 16. At the end 16 will be stored here. So but the correct answer is 31. Then how to correct this statement? The previous result will be the add-in to the next iteration. So I have to modify this code like this. S is equal to s plus. Now I is 0 at the beginning, I value is 0, 0 less than 4, condition satisfied. It enters the loop. So power function, it gives the power of this x. What is the value of x? Right now I have taken x is 2, 2 comma 0, 2 to the power of 0, 1. What is there in the s? Garbage value. I did not initialize any value here. So when you create a memory, what happens? There is a memory allocation. Let us assume the address is 700 and it's a 2-byte memory. See, I have declared variable. I did not give any value at the declaration time. So what is there? Some garbage value. Garbage value will be stored in the memory location. Now the same variable I used here, the garbage value plus this result. So again we'll get a wrong output. So then what we have to initialize there at this memory location? Which value I have to initialize? At the beginning, if I initialize 1, so if I take s is equal to 1 here, what happens? Power x comma I, 2 to the power of 0, 1, 1 plus 1, 2. What has to become? 1 has to give. It is giving 2, isn't it? At the beginning, which value we are expecting? 1 we are expecting, but it is giving 2. It's wrong, no? Instead of 1, which value I have to take here? 0. I have to initialize s with the value 0. Now 0 plus power of x comma I, 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 0, 1, 0 plus 1, 1, now s is 1. Then I increments, I becomes 1, 1 less than or equal to 4, is satisfy, condition satisfied. Again we have to substitute this 1 here, 1 plus 2 to the power of 1, 2, 1 plus 2, 3. Okay, 3 will be the answer. Now I becomes 2, is 2 less than 4, is condition satisfied. Now previous value of s is 3, 3 plus 2 to the power of 2, 4, 7, 7 is stored in s. I increments, I becomes 3, is 3 less than or equal to 4, is condition satisfied. 2 to the power of 3, 8, 8 plus 7, 15, 15 will be stored in s. I increments, I becomes 4, is 4 less than or equal to 4, yes, condition satisfied. Then 15 plus 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 4, 16, 15 plus 16, 31, 31 will be stored in s. I increments, I becomes 5, 5 less than or equal to 4, no, condition not satisfied there. Then it terminates the loop. Finally, the answer is in this variable, yes. At the end we have to display that. This is the logic. Let us implement this using class and objects and with the help of constructors. What are the things we have to observe in this program? Here there is an initialization. To that s variable, I have to initialize a value 0. That's why I have to take constructor here. Default constructor I used. And I used built-in function POW, header files, class, as include iostream.h, as include conio.h, and one more header file we have to add here, that is math.h, because this program having power function, as include math.h class. I'll take name of the class is series. What are the variables here? X, n and sum. In the private section, if I won't write this private, default they are become private members. I'll take integer type int x comma n comma sum, public. I'll use default constructor to initialize sum, series, sum is equal to 0. So in this program I used a default constructor, public void input. So this function meant for getting value from the keyboard. Cout, enter x and n values. Cin extraction x and extraction n, semicolon. So input function over. Now another function, calculate. See, what you have to understand, in the calculation function or cal function, we must write looping statement. So I have to write that loop, that function outside the class definition, because it cannot expand it as inline function. You all know what type of functions we have to define inside the class definition, inline functions. So functions which does not contain looping statement, selection statement or any recursive statement. So such functions cannot expand it as inline. So I must define outside the class. And one more rule is there. In order to define a function outside the class definition, we must declare in the class. How? Void cal. open close semicolon. And one more function I'll define here, void disp. See out, insertion, sum of the given series is, sum of the given series is sum. Finally, the result is in sum, class close. Now the thing is, we have to define this cal function outside the class. You all know the rule to define member function outside the class. What is the rule? Return type specifier, class name, scope resolution operator, function name, within parenthesis, argument declaration if it is required, or you can leave empty parenthesis, open flower bracket, body of the function, close flower bracket. So let us follow the same rule here. What is the return type specifier? Void. Class name, series, scope resolution operator, and function name, cal. No arguments are required here, so I left empty parenthesis there. Open flower bracket. Then let us write the code, logic, what we discussed before. What is the code? I have to take a local variable int I semicolon for I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. Sum is equal to sum plus POW of x comma I. Flower bracket close, function close. Now main function, void main. We have to create object, series, I'll take S as an object. S dot, when you create object, there would be a memory allocation for S. And what are the data members here? X, N and sum. So soon after creating object, constructor will be invoked. Sum is equal to 0. So I told you, which function has to execute at the beginning? Constructor. Which function having initialization code, that has to execute first. So whether you invoke or not, constructor will be invoked automatically when you create object. Understood? Now input function I have to call input, open close parenthesis. After that, what is the order you need to call these functions? First input function, after that calculation cal function and display function. Now s dot cal, s dot disp, get ch, close. Understood? So always execution starts from main function. So object is created there. At that moment a value will be initialized, then input function. So this statement will be displayed on the screen, enter x and n value, then user will enter values. After that calculation s dot cal, this function will be executed. Then the result is in sum. To display the value we have taken a function called disp. When you call display function s dot disp, this will be executed. Understood? You can write, you can modify this code like this also. Instead of taking 0, if I start from 1, what changes you need to make here? Here sum is equal to 1. If I give initial value 1, you can start from 1. How? See, the series would be like this, no? X 1 plus x to the power of 1 plus x to the power of 2 plus x to the power of 3 up to x to the power of n. The series is like this. If I consider this value as an initial value, I can initialize here. Sum is equal to 1. So this value I have taken as an initial value here. And I start from x to the power of 1. So let us execute the loop from 1 to n. You can write in this way also. But don't forget to change this value. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 1 ನೀವು ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? 1ಇಂದ, ಪವರ್ 1ಇಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಜನರೇಟ್ ದ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದನೇ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಏನಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು? ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್: ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಪವರ್ ಆಫ್ 0, ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಪವರ್ ಆಫ್ 1, ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಪವರ್ ಆಫ್ 2, ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಪವರ್ ಆಫ್ 3 ಅಪ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಪವರ್ ಆಫ್ n. You can write this program in two ways. One is you can take this value as an initial value, so sum is equal to 1, and you can start from x to the power of 1. That is one method. Or if you want to generate the series from here itself, x to the power of 0 indane series generate agli andre, so 0, x to the power of 0, 1, that 1 has to add it with the number, again it results 1 only. So what is that initial value? 0. ನೀವು ಪವರ್ 0 ಇಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 0 ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು? ಇಲ್ಲಿ 0, ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಪವರ್ ಆಫ್ 0 ಅಂದರೆ 1 ಯಾರ ಜೊತೆ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 1 ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರು. 0 ಜೊತೆ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ 0ನ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿ ತೊಗೋಬೇಕು ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನದರ್ ಮೆಥಡ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಐ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ built-in function. Let us write the same program without using built-in function. So every time ಈಗ ಪವರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, I won't use this function. See here, let us start from 1 only, x to the power of 1. This 1 is an initial value, it is there in sum. Okay, x to the power of 1, x to the power of 2, x to the power of 3 up to x to the power of 4. Okay, we want these values first, this calculation. X is constant, 2 to the power of 1. Next, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 4. ಈ ಥರ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ನಮಗೆ ಪವರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಪವರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್. ಈಗ ಆ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ನಾವೇ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ ಥರ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ? ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಐ ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬೋದಾ ಲೂಪಲ್ಲಿ? ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to n, sorry, I start from 1 now, I plus plus. If I write like this, x into I anta barde anಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. What is there in x? 2. 2 into 1, 2. Isn't it? 2 into 1, 2 ಕೊಡ್ತು ನನಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್. x is equal to 2 ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿದೆ. If I write like this, s is equal to s plus x. ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕು? s is equal to, see, the previous code was like this now, sum is equal to sum plus POW of x comma I. This is what we have written there. So now I have to ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಲ್ಟ್-ಇನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್. ನನಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟನ್ನು ನಾವೇ ಅದೇ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು, ಪವರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೇಮ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮ್ ಅಂತಿದೆ, ನಾನು ಎಸ್ ಅಂತ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್? 2 ಇಂಟು ಐ 2, ಇದು ಬಂತು, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಈಗ. ಸೊ ಸಮ್ ಈಸ್ 1, ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 1 ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್, ಎಕ್ಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 2, 1 plus 2, 3. ನಾವು ಸಮ್ ಇಸ್ 3. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್? ಎಕ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ? 2 ಇದೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಇವಾಗ ಮತ್ತೆ 2 ಇಂಟು ಐ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 2. ರೈಟ್ ನೌ ಐ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ 2 ನೋ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ರೇಷನ್. 2 ಇಂಟು 2, 4. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಯಿತು? 4 ಬಂತು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಏನಾಯಿತು? 4. ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 3, 3 ಪ್ಲಸ್ 4, 7. 7 is stored in S. Now I becomes 3. What is the value of x? Previous value, what is there in the x? 4 was there, no? Yeah. See, at the beginning what is there in the x? 2. I value is 1. 2 into 1, 2. So x is 2. Here I'll start from the beginning now. S was 1 initial value. What is there in S? 1. 1 plus x value is 2. 1 plus 2, 3. Now S is 3. Now I increments. I becomes 1. Sorry, I becomes 2. Before I was 1, now I is 2. Is 2 less than or equal to 4? Yes, condition satisfied. Now 2 into, what is there in x? 2 only. 2 2s are 4. Now x value is 4. Right now x value is 4. Previous value of s is 3. 3 plus 4. 3 plus 4, 7. Now s is 7. I increments. I becomes 3. Right now I is 3. 3 less than 4. Condition satisfies here. What is there in x? 4. Let us substitute 4 here. I value is 3. 4 3s are 12. 12 will be stored here. 7 plus x value 12. 12 plus 7, 19. Okay, then I increments. I becomes 4. Previous value of 12, x is 12. 12 4s are 48. So 48 and 19. So again wrong output. So then how to write the code here? If I write like this, we won't get the exact answer. Then how to modify this code? X is equal to x into I know. So before, instead of using x every time, I can take another variable p here. Int p, I'll initialize p with the value x. Okay. Now for I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to n I plus plus. Open flat bracket. So every time p has to calculate. P means power. I have taken power. P is equal to x. X is the common value. 2. 2 into I. Okay. Now s is equal to s plus p. Let us see. At the beginning I is 1, x is 2. 2 into, okay, 2 into I. 2 into 1, 2. P is 2. Okay. Now s plus p. What is there in s? 1. 1 plus 2, 3. Sum is 3. Now I increments. I becomes 2. X value 2 only. 2 2s are 4. So p is 4. 4 plus, sorry, 3 plus 4, 7. Sum is 7 now. I increments. I becomes 3. X value constant, that is 2. I becomes 3. Isn't it? Yeah. 2 3s are 6. Then 6 plus 7, 13. Now I becomes 4. 2 4s are 8. 8 plus 13. What is the value? 8 plus 13? 21. But we want 31 now. So how to modify this code? See, as per the rule we have written. So x to the power of x into 1, 2 into 2, 2 into 3, 2 to the power of 3, like that it has to give. Then how to write the code here? How to modify this code? Now how to modify that code? See, instead of this function, we only generate that result. How many times loop has to execute? 1 to 4. So I start from for I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. Okay. So the purpose of this loop is how many times it has to execute? 4 times. Now at the beginning sum is equal to sum plus, I will take another variable p is equal to x. X value is 2. If you consider x is 2 and n is 4, I have taken another variable and I assigned this value p also 2. At the beginning What is there in S? 1. 1 is the initial value. P is 2. 1 plus 2, 3. Okay. For the next iteration, I need 4. 2 to the power of 2 we need. If I take P is equal to P into X. What is there in P? 2 is there. What is the value of X? 2. X value is 2 only. 2 into 2, 4. Now P is 4. S was 3. I increments, I becomes 2. Right now I is 2. N value is 4. Now sum. What is there in sum? 3 is there. Substitute here. 3 plus P. What is there in P? 4. 3 plus 4. 7. 7 will be stored in sum. And next P. What is there in P? 4 is there. No? Substitute 4. 4 into 2. X value is 2. 4 2s are 8. Now P value is 8. I increments. I becomes 3. Is 3 less than or equal to 4? Yes, condition satisfied. What is there in S? 7. 7. P value, previous value was P 8. 7 plus 8, 15. So 15 will be stored in S. Then P, what is there in P? 8. 8 into 2, X remains constant. 2 to the power, 8 into 2, 16. Now P is 16. I increments, I becomes 4. Is 4 less than or equal to 4? Condition satisfied. 15, sum is 15 plus P value is 16. 31, sum is 31. So according to the rule, what are the statements are there in the looping statement? It will be executed. 16, again let us take 16 here. 16 into 2, 32. P value is 32. Now I increments, I becomes 5. Is 5 less than or equal to 4? No, condition false, it terminates the loop. Finally, your answer is in yes. So this is another way of writing this program without using built-in function. Okay, so that how can we modify this program? Sum is equal to sum plus P, and P is equal to P into X. And before going to here, we have to initialize P. Where I have to initialize? Here. P is equal to X. Understood?